With the latest release of OP07 for the One Piece TCG in English, I thought right now would be a good opportunity to give you guys my current deck list for Foxy with OP08. Is this leader good? Is there any substantial upgrades? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and as mentioned, we're going to be talking about my new Foxy build. We'll be going over the game plan, the pros, the weaknesses, the utility, the attackers, the blockers, the 2Ks, and of course, the events. So, let's get started. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you guys want to make your own proxies, link in the description for more. So, let's begin with talking about the leader. Let's zoom in and talk about the leader. So, this is Foxy from OP07, 5,000 power, mono, purple. So the ability is when attacking, you're going to be minusing 3 Dawn. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirate characters in play, choose up to one of each of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. Those cards do not become active during the owner's next refresh. If you're able to get this ability off, it is very, very powerful. But the hard part is actually having 3 or more Foxy characters in play. The meta as of right now is heavy removal. So it's pretty tough to do, but if you're just playing off meta and maybe you get like a really good turn where you just summon a bunch of stuff and then you're able to use the ability, it can be very damning for the opponent. So that's the overall game plan. Is there's a couple of ways to win, and we'll talk about this. So let's move over to the utilities, and there is a ton in this deck. Now, utility means not primarily used for attacking. So here we have Mana from OP07, 2/3/1 Foxy Pirates. Activate main. You may trash this character. If your leader has Foxy, then you add up to 1 Dawn rested. You can summon it regularly and actually trash it whenever you need to. You can wait a couple of turns, actually use a couple of Dawn to attack, then trash it then. You can summon it with Porsche. There's a lot of ways to use this. And that's pretty much, it's a good card. And once again, these are utility cards. You don't primarily want to attack, and this can act as just another body on the board if you ever need to use the ability. You can have it on the board as the 3rd Foxy Pirate, and then, you know, after you use your Foxy leader ability, you can trash this, etc. So it's pretty versatile. So we're running 3 of these. Next up, it's Iton Mimitsu. This is a pretty staple card for any Foxy deck. Basically, this is your ramping card. So from OP07, 3/0/1, activate once per turn. If your leader is Foxy and you don't have any other Iton Mimitsu, add up to 1 Dawn and rest it. So this is kind of like you know, just your basic stage ramp card, but it's in a character form because you need more characters to use with the leader ability. Pretty easy to KO because it's low cost, low power, but it has a 1K, so it's not completely dead in your hand if you already have one in the field, and you're not using this to attack, so your opponent has to go out of the way to kind of remove it. And, you know, there you go. So running 4 of these. Next up, it's going to be Charlotte Pudding from OP08. This is one of the upgraded cards for the set. So this is Big Mom Pirate, so not searchable or anything. 3/4/1. Your turn once per turn. When your Dawn is returned to your deck, you add 1 and rest it. This is a deck that really, you know, really reduces the amount of Dawn you use quite a lot. So this card will come in handy. And it's unfortunately not a, you can't use it with your leader ability, but it's so early to put out, and you get a lot of value out of it, so we're running 3 of these puddings. So those are your utilities. There was a lot here. Next up, let's go to the attackers. So let's go right here, and we start with the lowest to high cost with Pickles. This card is from OP07. This is a 3/4/1. If you have less or equal Dawn than your opponent, and most likely you should, even though you do ramp a little bit, you're going to be minusing Dawn quite a lot. Your characters with Foxy Pirates, other than Pickles, cannot be KO'd by your opponent effect. So unfortunately, this still loses to, you know, bouncing back to your hand, bottom deck removal, etc., or complete trashing. But there's a lot of KO stuff, especially if you're playing like a black deck, and they have Lucci's, and they, you know, instead of KOing 2, they can only kill this guy with it, and then they have to do other things if they decide to use the effect. So this is why this is in here. You're primarily using it to attack, even though it's kind of weak, but it can come in handy. So we're running 3 here. I recommend running 3 to 4, especially if you're going against heavy meta decks. Next up, we have Capote. This is a Fishman Foxy from OP07, 3/4/1. On play, remove a Dawn. If your leader is Foxy Pirates, up to one of your opponent's characters 6 or less cannot attack. So this is a pretty fun card because not only do you remove the Dawn and you get some benefits from the other cards you get, but it stops somebody 6 or less and it doesn't have to be rested. If they played it the last turn, you bust this out and then they can't do anything and it kind of stalls them. It's really nice. So we're running 3 of these as well. And now for one of the best cards in the deck, this is Porsche from OP07. You absolutely need to run 4 of these. This is Foxy Pirates 3-5. I don't know if you guys hear the trash in the background. It's a garbage truck. Anyway, 3-5-0. This is on play, -1 Dawn. Look at the top 5 cards, add a Foxy Pirate to your hand, and then place the remaining on the bottom. But this is really the good effect here. Then you might play up to 4,000 power or lower purple character from your hand. It's not restricted to any Foxy Pirates. You can actually put a lot of stuff out. For example, you can put out this Charlotte Pudding that you already have in your hand. A lot of really good stuff. She helps you quite a lot for maybe getting that last character out that you need to use your leader ability that turn. But either way, really amazing card. So good that Porsche is used in a lot of other purple decks. I think primarily like the Reiju deck. She's used in there because a lot of the combo pieces are 4,000 or lower. So 100% you run 4 of these. Next up, we jump from a 3 cost all the way to a 7. This is one of your late game win conditions. This is Foxy. So we're running 4 of these from OP07. 7-7-0. On your opponent's turn, if your leader is Foxy Pirates, all of your opponent's characters have -1. Too bad it's not on your turn. That would be kind of overpowered. But imagine if you have 2 or 3 of these on the field. If you're lucky to do so, right? Then the opponents on their turn just have -1,000, 2,000, 4,000. It's kind of nuts. And because you have your Pickles as the one of your characters to keep things safe, they can't just simply use an effect on him. They have to go through your Pickles. But anyway, also activate once per turn, add up to 1 Dawn from your deck and rest. So the turn that you do play it out, if it's on curve 7, you're going to get an 8, and the next turn you have 10 Dawn to do a lot of stuff with. So running 4 of these. Your other win condition is going to be the Kaidos. So I'm running 3 of these for your late game boss monsters beside the Foxies. So this is from 4 Emperors, Animal Kingdoms, ST04, 9-10-0. On play, -5 Dawn. Once again, it's okay having a lot of negative Dawn in this deck. There's ways to put it back up. But yeah. Then you can KO somebody that's 6 or less. Then this character gains Rush. Very powerful, running a bunch of these. Very cool. All right, next up, let's move on to the blockers of the deck. Now we're going to start with Tony Chopper, Animal for Foxy Pirates, Damn You Davy Back Fights, OP07 2-0, really doesn't want to fight a Chopper. And then 1 here, Innate Blocker, but really important is on play. If your board has Dawn less or equal to than your opponent's, you can look up to 1 of your Dawn and rest it. So it's really good for a Porsche as well. If you play Porsche, you put 1 Dawn down, then you put Chopper out, so you're going to be able to get it back up, assuming you have the correct amount of Dawn. It's really powerful. So these are good. Easily KO'd, but they're just really good. And in this deck, I don't know if you guys noticed already, but you really just need a lot of Foxy Pirate things to use this ability. So yes, another quick one to get out. A blocker. If they don't have the removal, then sucks for them. Okay. Next up, the last blocker in the deck, well, semi-blocker, right? We have a Eustace Captain Kid from OP05, 5/6/1, innate blocker. Your turn, once per turn. When a Dawn card from your field is returned, add 1 as active. So it's just obviously it's a much better Charlotte Pudding. However, this one is a turn earlier essentially, so that's why you want these ones and then those ones. It's really good. You can mess around with the ratios, like maybe 2 of these, 4 of those, but I decided to go 3 and 3 because I kind of wanted to see consistently like half and half, so that's why we're doing those. So these are just really good, amazing blockers. Okay, time for your 2Ks. We're running 10 in this deck. Start off with Gina Foxy Pirates from OP07, 102. On play if your leader is Foxy Pirates and your Dawn is equal or less, and you add up to 1 and set it as active. Now, you really don't want to use this a lot for the ability. I would say only throw it down on the field if you need it for the last character of the third one to use your leader's ability, because essentially It is free. It's free because you spend one and then you set one as active to use your leader ability. But yeah, you want to keep it for the 2K, but it has that sort of synergy if you need to do it that way. So we're running 4 of these Ginas. Next up, it's going to be Black Marias, the other card from OP08 that kind of buffs this deck up. 3/2/2. Activate once per turn. If you have no other Black Maria, add it to 5 Dawn from your deck is rested. Very strong. Then at the end of your turn, return 1 Dawn from your field to the Dawn deck until the number of Dawn is equal to your opponent's field. Very good to use with Foxy. Very good to use with Kaido. Assuming you're able to have Black Maria on the turn beforehand, and then you throw out 9 Dawn here, then you use her ability to go back up to 5 Dawn total. It's just very strong. Black Maria is a good card in any sort of deck that has you minusing a ton of Dawn. So we're running 3 of these, and then we're running 3 of these Sanjis, some Straw Hats. So this is from OP07 662. That's why I said semi-blocker, because he can act as a blocker while you have 2 or more fewer Dawn than your opponent, and it could happen a lot of ways to go down. The Kaido, your leader ability in general. Then this costs 3 less, making it a 3 blocker with 6,000 power. It's pretty good. So we're running 3 of these very good versatile cards. And finally, we're running these events here. We have 3 cards in here, and we have 2 of each. And I'm going to be messing around with the ratios to see how well they perform in duels. But definitely, I want to try all of these. This is a Noro Beam Sword from OP07. It's a Foxy Pirate card. Now, unfortunately, the only searching card in the deck is going to be Porsche, and she does not search for, well, I think she just, wait, she might search for anything. Yeah. Any Foxy Pirate card, but it's obviously her secondary ability doesn't work with this. So you can still search for it if you need to, any of these events. Nora Beam Sword. Counter. So if your opponent knows the matchup, if you hold 2 Dawn, they know you're primarily going to use this. I would say even if you don't have it towards the late game, if you don't need 2 extra Dawn, I would absolutely bluff and hold 2 up, because this is one of the best sort of counters that this has access to. Counter, -1 Dawn, give up to one of your leader characters 2,000, which is pretty crappy, but you rest up to one of their characters. It doesn't matter the cost, 1 to a 10 cost plus, it doesn't matter. You rest that thing. So they even have to play around it. So that's why you keep 2 Dawn up if you're not going to use it for the previous turn. They have to play around it by attack with all their characters before the leader, etc. So you can really mess with them that way. And also the trigger's pretty good. If you're able to do it, you freaking ramp up 1 Dawn. It's pretty awesome. Now we have Megalodon Ninetails Rush. This is your other sort of win condition. So Foxy Pirate card from OP07 3 cost. Main. If you have equal or less Dawn than your opponent, set up to one of your Foxies as active. So this is a very, very powerful. You can think of this as Uda's sort of I'm invincible rushing. So we have 2 of these in here. And you can absolutely go crazy. Assume like some crazy crap can go on. Let's just assume, right, you have Foxy ready to go. You attack with some Dawn, you minus -3 Dawn, you bring this back up, you attack again, you minus more Dawn and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Obviously, it's going to mess things up, but if you have not Captain Kid, if you have, what the hell, what am I looking at? Black Maria. God dang it, sorry. If you have Black Maria on the field, you can stand up, rest, and it doesn't matter. You're going to go back up to the Dawn at the end of the turn. So very versatile. We're running 2 of these. And finally, just to give your deck a little bit more removal, we have Ragnaroks. Now, you can go ahead and get rid of these if you want. You can put like 1 more of these in. But I kind of like to see this every once in a while. This is for Emperor's Animal Kingdoms. The trigger is you ramp 1 from EBO1. However, it's only 5 Dawn, -1 Dawn. And it kind of synergizes with the Charlotte Pudding and the Eustace Captain Kids and, of course, the Black Maria. KO an opponent's character that's 8 or less. Doesn't matter if it's rest or not. And in this meta, there's a lot of 8-cost characters that are very 8 or lower, like Big Mom, 7 drops, the Gecko Morias, 8, etc. So you can get rid of those with only 5 Dawn. No problem, doesn't have to be rested, etc. All right, guys, so that is my current deck list for Foxy. Obviously, this is very, very strong if you're able to just play your own game, where you're playing a deck where the opponent also wants to just fill the board with stuff. They want to attack, maybe some light removal because you are going to be swarming the board, and you have a late game Kaido Black Maria combo to get things done. But yeah, the way you're going to win is either just fill your board out with a ton of Foxies, and hopefully they don't have a lot of removal, which is kind of tough in the current meta because there's a lot of removal, whether it be like single or multi-targets. There's just a lot. But yeah, you have the option to completely freezing characters. If you're able to get your 7-drop Foxies out, you can lower their cost, their power output on their characters, making it so they have to use a lot of extra energy to destroy your stuff. It's a pretty fun deck. It's interesting, and this is what we have here. The only eight upgrades we've used are the Charlotte Puddings and the Black Marias, but they're pretty good because they do fill in a lot of spots that otherwise would make the deck, I would say, a little bit more weaker. So that's gonna be it, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you would add or remove if you were to try to buff up this particular play style. Let us know if there's any other different play styles that would work with Foxy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.